Welcome back to the second half. Lafayette on top, 13-7. Recapping the scoring for the first half. Lafayette got on the board first with their opening drive of the game. Doug Cook finishing it off with a 3-yard touchdown run. The extra point was good by Tim Chesney, and it was 7-0 Lafayette. Tates Creek answered later on a 1-yard touchdown run in the second quarter by Tim Jones from a yard out. The extra point was good by John Bates, and the score was 7-7. And then in the latter stages of that second quarter, Tim Chesney kicked 2 field goals, one from 21 yards out, one from 23. And that's where we stand at this moment. Lafayette on top, 13-7. We're just a few moments away from the start of the second half. First half statistics: total offensive yardage, Lafayette 146, Tates Creek 120. All of that was on the ground. Leading the way for Lafayette individually, Jesse Bradford, 15 carries for 95 yards, 7 yards per carry for Bradford. And he is about the only offense that Lafayette had. Vic Johnson, their talented wingback, 4 carries for 17 yards. For Tates Creek, they were led by Demetrius Wingate, 7 carries for 69 yards. The bulk of that, a 46-yard run in the first quarter. And Tim Jones got on track later, 7 carries for 41 yards. First half statistics. Ready to start the second half with Tates Creek receiving the ball as Lafayette, Danny Serball, kicking off to start the second half, and it is a squibber taken and down by number 85 for the Commodores, and that is Tommy Kessinger, sophomore, a member of Tates Creek Juniors, city championship team from last year.
Well, Dick, Tates Creek's got to feel mighty happy. I thought that they held Lafayette to 2 field goals at the end of the first half, and that's got to give them momentum. Both teams have been able to march back and forth up and down the field offensively without putting the football up. So we'll see if that trend continues in the second half. Second half action with Dick Simpson.
Tates Creek starting from their own 27-yard line. 1st and 10. Lafayette looks like expecting run. Here's Etter, his first pass of the game to Jones. Cuts upfield, and he's knocked down for about a yard gain. Good defensive play by number 82, David Borosic. Forced Jones to turn upfield, where he was met by a host of Lafayette Generals.
Anton Snyder finished him off there along with Borosic. Nice pursuit by Lafayette's interior defense, Dick, as they shut that play off. That's about the first time, I believe, that they put the football up.
Well, Etter was attempted to throw one time in the first half, and he was sacked. Coming into this game, Scott Ever averaging 195 yards a game, 185 yards a game throwing. He has 0 to this point. 2nd and 8, Tates Creek from the 29. Tim Jones, and he's met hard. Brought down initially by number 58, Andy Bischoff, from his nose guard position. Bischoff, an all-city performer from a year ago, made the initial hit on Jones, slowed him down, but Jones did cross the 30. Or no, they mark it right at the 30. A pickup of a yard, make it 3rd down and 7, Tates Creek.
And number 37 in, also Dan Houlihan. He's made a lot of stops tonight for Lafayette as he's clogging up the middle. Dick, I was talking to somebody, and they think Scott Etter is one of the top college prospects in the next couple of years, maybe the best quarterback prospect since Stan Forston, the great Henry Clay quarterback back in the late 60s.
This is a passing down, 3rd down and 7. And here comes Etter across the middle to Houston Hall. Nearly picked off by Johnny Robinson on a spectacular play. Hall had his hands on it. That play has been very effective for Tates Creek this season. Lafayette had it scouted out pretty well that time. And the first punt of the game right now. Tates Creek forced a punt, the very first punt we've had all night. And Stan, there have been few flags called, or few penalties called, so it's been a cleanly played game.
Very well played game. Johnny Robinson was Johnny on the spot that time, Dick, as we saw that play to Hall that worked successfully in the last 2 weeks, especially last week against Clark County.
John Bates, not a very good kick off the side of his foot. And it's going to go out of bounds at the Tates Creek 47. Punt covered about 17 yards, and Lafayette will start off in the second half in excellent field position.
And great pursuit that time by Lafayette as they put the pressure on Tates Creek's kicker, Johnny Bates, and caused him to shank one off to the side. And so this will put Lafayette in excellent field position inside Tates Creek territory at about the 46-yard line, Dick. Calling the signals there for Tates Creek is number 55, and he's a good one. That's Ton Snyder. He's been in on a lot of stops.
You mean Johnny Greenstein?
I'm sorry, you're right. I looked at the wrong program. Johnny Green.
First and 10, Lafayette at the Tates Creek 47-yard line. And this is Jesse Bradford to make that Doug Cook down to the 40.
And
Doug Cook picking up about 7 on the play.
And if it hadn't been for Demetrius Wingate, Dick, on that left linebacker spot, he'd still be running because he had a full head of steam there, and Wingate just barely tripped him up. What a runner by Cook along with Bradford. Boy, these two give Lafayette a potent running attack.
Gain of 6 for Cook. He's run hard tonight despite the neck injury that he has. Second down and 4 for the Generals. Pitch back to Vic Johnson, coming this way, turns the corner, and he's brought down on a great play by, it looked like, 25, Melvin Lear. Melvin Lear, the nose guard for the Commodores, and Vic Johnson's getting up a little slowly.
And Johnny Green chased him along, too, number 55, but not before Vic Johnson, a very tough competitor, picks up that first down, Dick.
And it's a penalty against the Commodores.
I believe they're going to stick him with a personal foul, maybe a late hit there by Green. One of the other Commodores. We'll wait and see, though.
I believe you're right. Moves the ball down to the 20-yard line. So a big play for the Generals. Melvin Lear on the hit made a good defensive play, but somebody was a little overeager, and Lafayette now moving the ball well, taking advantage of their breaks in this game. This is Antoine George. He's not going for very much yardage. Well, give him about 2 or 3 on the play. At about the 17, they'll mark it.
Big Todd Hall got his jersey dirty on that one as he smelled the play and dragged him down along with Melvin Lear for Tates Creek. But I tell you what, Dick, they're getting 3 and 4 cracks every time on the Tates Creek line. They're really driving back Tates Creek. Hall and Lear and Drury's in there, Wingate's in there. Tates Creek trying to dig in and stop Lafayette. They've been here a lot. Let's see if they can do it this time.
Second and 7. This is Jesse Bradford around the left side. And he's knocked down, but not before he got inside the 10 to about the 9. Getting off the bottom of the stack, David Browning, Melvin Lear over there, along with Johnny Green. And Johnny Green, as you mentioned, has been in on a lot of hits this year. Lear is second in the team in tackles behind Demetrius Wingate. Johnny Green is 4th in tackles this year for Tates Creek. But another first down for the Generals inside the Tates Creek 10. It is going to be close. They've come out for an official measurement. But Lafayette has been unstoppable in this game. They have yet to punt. First down for the Generals. They have yet to punt. They've made 1 turnover. That was the interception that threw. That led.
Dick, you've got a real strong offensive line. We keep talking about it. That's Bischoff and Ton Snyder and Cox. And tight ends will block for the running backs. They're tough.
First and goal, Jesse Bradford, and he's knocked down by number 18, John Burt, or make that Houston Hall. Houston Hall indefensively for the Commodores made a good play in stopping Bradford where it looked like a 2-yard loss.
Well, no one hit Hall, Dick, as he came free from that end spot, and he was supposed to be taken out of the play, and that play may have gone, but Hall just really put on a blitz there, and I believe he read the play and nailed him. A big play by Tates Creek's defense.
Second down and 11. Lafayette knocking on the door once again. This is Cook. 3 or 4 on the play. Tripped up initially by number 53, J.D. Kermode, and he dived down to about the 6.
And watching him go down was Chris Lauer as he made sure he didn't go any further, but the damage was done by a beautiful run by Cook, as you called it, Dick, and they're just running over to the right tackle slot. That time they ran right off Hall for Tates Creek along with Lear.
They're going to mark it at about the 8. 3rd down and 8. Wouldn't be surprised to Lafayette go up top here. They've been unsuccessful running the ball down near Tates Creek's goal line. They give it to Johnson. Far side of the field. And there's a flag. Johnson's cut down short. A holding call on the Generals. Holding call, Lafayette, the preliminary signal. Once again, staying out there defensively for Tates Creek, number 19, John Burt, stringing out Vic Johnson. Forced him to go wide, but the holding call will go against Lafayette, and that's a big play. Lafayette, or Tates Creek, has had some lucky breaks down there here at the goal line. In the first half, they had an offsetting penalty, helped them, and now a holding call against Lafayette will put this ball back at about the 20-yard line.
Well, you called it, Dick. You made a good observation there. John Burt did a good job. He was outmanned 2-on-1, but he was able to control the runner and halt him there, and then, of course, get the penalty against Lafayette, and that's going to put them back. So they're right back in the same old position, Dick. They get down there, much like Kentucky's done, but they cannot dent that goal line. Let's see what they do this time.
3rd down and 18. This is where Vic Johnson comes into play. Their big play guy. They're going to give it to George Wright up the gut. And Demetrius Wingate meets him at about the 12 and stops him cold. And once again, in for Lafayette, Tim Chesney. Been very valuable member for Lafayette in this game.
Well, J.D. Kermode also in on the stop. J.D.'s not had a whole lot of hits tonight. At least I haven't seen too much. But J.D. is a fine offensive, or rather defensive football player for Tates Creek as he plays it very hard. And that time, he, along with others, met the charge and call it 4th down. Let's see if they can convert again.
Chesney for his 3rd field goal of the game. Marked this one from 25 yards out. And he got it. Tim Chesney with his 3rd field goal of the game. And Lafayette increases their lead 16-7. So Tim Chesney has accounted for 9 of the 16 points for Lafayette. And they're on top 16-7 with 6 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. And stay in the kicking game, always a vital ingredient to a team's success. Tim Chesney kicking for the first time this year. They've had an excellent field goal kicker the last couple of years. T.G. Shuck is now over at Georgetown. But Chesney filling in very well here tonight with his 3rd field goal of the game.
Got a strong leg, Dick, and he's very accurate. Once he gets inside that 30-yard line, he can really put it through. And, boy, this is a big series for Lafayette as they've converted on 3 field goals. So they're in the driver's seat right now. Tates Creek must mount an offense and get back in it.
Surball's kick, it's a squibber to Chris Lauer, who takes it at about the 20. Cuts upfield, good run out to about the 37, 38-yard line. We're trying to keep it away from Tim Jones, which is not a bad ploy. Jones can burn you anywhere on the field.
Well, we almost saw him take the opening kickoff, Dick, and race right down this sideline and one man to beat, and he almost took it all the way as we saw him earlier.
Okay, now, Tates Creek down 16-7. They've been a come-from-behind team all year. They came from behind to beat Belfry, came from behind to beat Kaywood, came from behind to beat Clark County, and nearly came from behind to beat Madison Central. Let's see what happens here with Eder in the Tates Creek offense. Eder has been shut down. He's only thrown the ball once or twice. He's back to pass. And here's Bailey. And Eder just off the mark as David Borosic was applying good pressure to Eder and just overthrew him just a tad. 2nd and 10, Tates Creek.
This time Lafayette played a deep zone and they gave a little room there to Bailey, and Bailey found the crease, but as you said, David Borosic made Eder pop the football just a little bit too soon, and I think other than that, that pass would have been there, Dick.
He's hit that pass most of the year, coming in averaging 63% completions. Glittering year so far for Eder. 2nd and 10. It's a draw play to Tim Jones. He's right up the middle, across the 50. And he's brought down right there at about the 50-yard line Could not tell. It looked like by number 3, Antoine George, but not before Tim Jones rambled for good yardage. About 15 on the play.
And Andy Bishop, good call, draw play. Linebackers for Lafayette really blitzing along with their defensive ends. That play will go because the linebackers left home. That's a very good call by Tates Creek, and they caught Lafayette a little bit out of position on that one.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. This is Eder. Oh, a little quick pitch to Tim Jones. And Jones gets down to about the 41, where he's knocked down by Vic Johnson, his old friend from the Morton Junior High days. A nifty little play by Tates Creek. Stan, that's one thing that we've noticed from Tates Creek this year. Some very imaginative play calling from the Tates Creek side. And that was a nifty little play that picked up about 7. Gave it 2nd and 3, Tates Creek at the Lafayette 42-yard line.
Well, they need to pull out all the stops now to get back in it. 4:21 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
4 minutes and 15 seconds. 2nd and 3. This is Wingate, and he's into the Lafayette secondary. He's across the 20, and he's run out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Marcus Hill. And a nice little play to Wingate. That's the play earlier in the first half that he sprung for 46 yards. And Tates Creek moving when they had to. Inside the Lafayette 20 to about the 19.
Looked like an inside counter move, Dick, as Eder is a very good faker and faked one way, and then, of course, they flow to the left side, and Jones, boy, he had one man to beat and almost took it all the way.
1st and 10, Tates Creek on the move here in the 3rd quarter, down 16-7. Pitch out to Jones, far side of the field. Not much running room, run down by Vic Johnson, number 9.
Oh, beautiful one-on-one tackling by Johnson. He would not be taken out. In all fairness to Tates Creek, though, they did not lay a hand on Johnson, and he came free and supplied the ball carrier. Jones knocked him down, 2nd down and 8. Beautiful tackling by Lafayette on that series.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. Passing down for Tates Creek. At this spot of the field, they do like to go to Houston Hall. A little slant over the middle. Been a very effective play for the Commodores this year. Eder, another pitch out to Jones. Flag on the play. And I believe it's going to be a legal procedure against the Commodores.
You're watching Fayette County Schools Television, Channel 13 in Lexington.
It was illegal procedure against the Commodores. Puts the ball back to about the 21-yard line. Get down and 13 yards to go.
Well, Tates Creek needs to score, Dick. They need to get the momentum here, and they're 2nd down 13. A big, costly penalty there for Tates Creek. They could ill afford that one.
Eder, and Wingate's going nowhere. They ran that play one too many times, getting off the bottom of the stack. 37, Dan Houlihan, among others for the Generals.
And Antoine George right there to meet the charge. You called it, Dick. That play fool, absolutely nobody blocked for Tates Creek's right side. And boy, the gates were open for Lafayette, and they nailed him for a loss of 13. And in this territory, a loss of 3 yards is like losing 15 back up the field. So Tates Creek's got to pull their playbook now and get something started here.
You got to think pass here, or maybe Tim Jones. Eder back to pass, getting a rush. Houston Hall with an almost miraculous catch. Beautiful throw by Eder. He was under a heavy rush, and Houston Hall almost brought it in. But it'll be 4th down and 13 from the 21-yard line, and you figure Tates Creek has to go for it because they're out of Bates's range. So on 4th and 13, the Commodores will go for it.
And Marcus Hill did a nice job, but Dick, you called it there. Hall just almost corralled that one. What a play that would have been as Marcus Hill was draped on it. Played good defense.
Scott Eder yet to get any passing yardage in this game. 0 passing yardage. He's back to pass, slant across the middle to Bailey, and Bailey's in. slant pattern, post pattern of Bailey, and Enter with his quick release. One step, and it was in. And Tates Creek's on the board again. Jimmy Bailey with a 21-yard touchdown pass.
Well, we've seen that play work, Dick, because that's that tight end over the middle, and they've pulled that the last 2 or 3 weeks. That's a big play for them.
Jimmy Bailey from his flanker position stand. There was a holding penalty against Lafayette. Declined, of course. But there you saw the real Scott Eder. A very quick release. One step, and bang. Bailey, a great catch, and then he eluded the defenders into the end zone, and we got a ball game once again. 16-13. Bates in for the extra point. And it's no good. John Bates misses a crucial extra point for the Commodores. And Lafayette still leads by 3.
I don't know.
With 3:02 left here in the third quarter.
I don't know whether Johnny Robinson got a hand on it or whether he just missed it, but Johnny Robinson was right in on Bates that time. But anyway, that's a big miss, 16-13.
16-13. But Scott Eder, with yet another touchdown pass for the Commodores, has brought Tates Creek back into contention here. Okay, updated statistics. Scott Eder's 2 of 5 for 22 yards. That was his first completion. Tim Jones has carried 12 times for 88 yards. Jesse Bradford for Lafayette, 19 carries for 117 yards. So both of those runners, Jesse Bradford over the 100-yard mark, and Tim Jones is having another outstanding game, 88 yards on the night. Coming into this game, Tim Jones had rushed for 456 yards in 4 games, so he's over 100-yard average on the year, and he's keeping that pace this year. And of course, we can't say much more than what Bradford has done for this ball club. But the defensive holding penalty called against the Generals, or it might have been a personal foul penalty because it's a 15-yarder, instituted on the kickoff, so Tates Creek will kick off from the Lafayette 45. And we got a little squibber, and it goes out of bounds. So kicking from the 50. Stan, I believe both of these coaches do not want to kick it to the deep man. I don't believe Walton wants to kick it to Vic Johnson. And I don't believe Fee wants to kick it to Tim Jones because they are speed merchants and can really do damage on kickoff or punt returns.
I think you're right, Dick.
And I think if these coaches want to get beat, they don't want to get beat that way.
That's right. They want to make them grind it out and at least get it down there to where they'll have to play offense instead of letting them run it back. I think that's a good comment, yeah.
And there's an unusual call you don't see too often. The ball was kicked out of bounds. Lafayette declined, so they can take over, and they do. At about the 28-yard line, Stan. Not many people know that when it's kicked out of bounds, it doesn't automatically go back. The receiving team does have the option to take it. And Lafayette say, we got good field position there, let's take it.
Now the question is, Dick, can Tates Creek hold Lafayette? They've been unable to hold them all night. Lafayette just hadn't put a whole lot of touchdowns on the board.
That's right. This is Doug Cook diving for yardage up to about the 31.
And again, he had daylight as he ran behind Sonny Mills as he wiped out that right side of the Tates Creek line. And I don't think that the ball carrier realized that he had a lot of daylight, and if he'd veered to his right, he might have taken it a lot further.
Cook, number 30, Bradford, number 90, have been interchanging in this game, and both of them have ran well. Both have run hard, and that's what you want from a fullback. They've also blocked for their tailbacks. Give Cook 3 yards on the carry. Second down, 7 for the Generals. And this is Jesse Bradford. And Demetrius Wingate got him. Demetrius Wingate gets his hands on you, and more often than not, you're going down. And Bradford was thrown for a loss of about 1 or 2 on the play. We'll bring up a third down and about 9 for the Generals. So another.
And Dick, we're going to have a flag. John Burt was also in on that one. We're going to have a flag.
I believe it's holding against the Generals.
So right now, Tates Creek has the momentum as they gain the momentum with that touchdown, and they're playing excited defense right now, turning this football game around.
Well, it's been typical of their play all year. Come from behind. And they're doing it, making a good, strong second-half surge here. As you do feel the momentum kind of tilting Tates Creek's way. It's been Lafayette's for the majority of this game. As you said, they have really controlled things offensively. Lafayette has not punted once in this game.
You know, Dick, we go back to that series before. Lafayette has had their chances. They've been inside the 10 many times, but they elected to go for the field goal. Not elected, they just had to. And so if they could have punched a couple of those touchdowns out, why, we would have seen a very different football game in strategy. But as it is, Tates Creek is right in this one with only trailing 3 points with 2 minutes left to go. So Tates Creek has Lafayette right now in sort of a hole.
Second down, 17 yards. Good point. Stan Lovett. 2nd and 17. And they give it to, looks like Victor, make that Antoine George, and he's not picking up much. 73, Anthony Lindsay hitting him. George, maybe 3 or 4 on the play. Will bring up a 3rd and long situation for the Generals.
And it looked like Johnny Green submarined in there, Dick, and controlled everything inside. And then you called it, Anthony Lindsay came over and put the clinching touch on him. 3rd down, 14, big play Lafayette. If they don't move this football out, they'll punt the football. Tates Creek will have excellent field position.
Johnny Green's had a great game from his linebacker position for the Commodores. Jeff Neal's in the game, replacing Vic Johnson as a wideout. But they're going to looks like Bradford.
I thought it was number 3, Dick. I think that's George, but we'll wait till they unstack. It looked like George. And so here we go again. Lafayette's going to have to punt. Tates Creek's got a lot of momentum right now, Dick.
Well, Lafayette very conservative. I believe it's good play calling by Fee. You really don't want to attempt to pass deep in your own territory.
You're exactly right. I thought it was a good call, yes.
Less than a minute to play. They got one of the best punters in this city, Jeff Neal, back to do the punting chores. Head and head right now with Parrish Renfro as to the number 1 punter in this city. And Neal's only a junior.
Well, Chris Hayworth's going to try to bring it back, along with looks like David Browning for Tates Creek.
Neal, a high booming punt. Oh, he chases Hayworth all the way back to the 20. Beautiful punt by Jeff Neal down at the 20-yard line. Punt covered 53 yards. Or make that 63 yards. 53-yard punt, excuse me, by Jeff Neal. A great leg. Had it high, perfect spiral. Hayworth just let it go. It was over his head, and stand-up punter's a valuable weapon. And Jeff Neal just got Lafayette out of a hole there.
I'll guarantee you the Lafayette coaches couldn't have ordered a better kick than that, Dick. Boy, that was a great kick. That's going to do it, though, for the 3rd quarter, Dick.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Lafayette 16, Tates Creek 13.